Following today's Supreme Court decision to end reproductive freedom for millions of women, trans men, and anyone with a uterus, the Democratic Party immediately shifted into fundraising mode. That's right. The emails immediately began. Let me show you some examples here. Here is just a bunch of different texts going to people. You see, oh, it's so important. We got to act now. We got to defeat the Republicans. We got to beat Republicans. It's very, very important. But the only thing you need to do to beat Republicans is give us money. Give us lots and lots more money. That's the only thing that we need. Oh, by the way, vote harder. We'll get to that. Here's more. You have devastated by Nancy Pelosi. She's devastated. Did you know that? Very, very devastated. There's James Carville. He is so damn angry. No. That will go a long way to preventing people from having sex. To be fair. And then I got this one this morning. I'm sick to my stomach. Just stick to my stomach, says Nancy Pelosi. So, I mean, those are some of the emails and text messages that were bombarding people, asking them for money, begging them for cash. And then this morning, you actually had Nancy Pelosi out doing a press conference. And here's some of what she said.
There are probably millions of Americans out there who are angered, saddened by this decision, who feel very helpless, like that they can't do anything about it. What's your advice to them about what they should be doing?
Well, I think that, again, it's always about the outside mobilization is the most important part of any success that we can have on an issue. But there is a plan, and that plan is to win the election, hopefully to get 2 more senators so that we can change the obstacles to passing laws for the good of our country.
So, vote harder, everybody. What frustrates me here, I'm going to throw to you in a second, but so much about these establishment dinosaurs. They're not affected by this. Nancy Pelosi isn't affected by this. And they're cynically using all of this to raise money, telling people to vote harder as if that's going to, do anything, especially since Democrats already had the House. They already had the Senate. They already have the presidency. They could have codified Roe time and time again, and they did not. What are your thoughts?
Well, that just made me think of the fact that Dianne Feinstein was a prosecutor in California before Roe, and part of her job as a prosecutor was sending women who got abortions to prison. That was one of the things that she was doing, and providers as well. So that was solid. Glad to have those people who don't have the need for abortion services leading our fight by doing nothing. I was so angry when I got that Nancy Pelosi, because I got the same. Yeah. I can't breathe or whatever she said.
Oh my God.
It was just like, shut the fuck up. Okay. Don't text. Don't text. Never talk to me again. For the love of God. I voted for all of your candidates. I went out and did it. And you got the Senate and the House and the presidency. And you know what? They still took away our abortion rights. So, yep. And I, like the good vote cuck I am, will continue to go and vote. But I also recognize that the fact that they had this power and still let this happen under their watch, that's not really, and they've done nothing to respond to it. You're not driving people to the polls, right? If, let's say, Trump won re-election and he was the president now, there could be some sort of an argument, right? They could do you have to vote for Democrats. Look what happened under Trump. They can't do that. Biden is the freaking president. And this still happened. And American education is so horrendous. The civics education in this country are horrendous. A lot of people don't really understand how the government works. And what they do know, though, is that Biden is the president. The Democrats are in power. And they're having their rights taken away. And all these, and the economy is failing. And they can't afford gas. and groceries are insanely expensive, and there's supply chain issues, so they can't get some of the things they want, and they're not going to associate that with, you know, what limitations the president might have, and the
Right.
you know, and a lot of people don't know about the decades long plan to shape the court system to
Right.
be a theocratic fascist court system. So they're just going to say, well, we voted for you and you didn't help, so
Mhm.
why would we vote for you again? It's just, you can't inspire confidence in your party like this. You're doing nothing. You're doing nothing, and it's not going to work. It's not a good strategy. It doesn't make sense. And also, for the love of fucking God, if Obama sends me another email,
Oh.
I will snap. I am
Yeah.
just going to lose it. You could have codified Roe. You said you were going to do it, and you didn't. So this is on you too, bitch. I don't want a word from you.
Oh, we'll get into that too. So now you said they're not doing anything to help. In fact, they were doing things to not help. The opposite. Going back to the Texas race between Henry Cuellar and Jessica Cisneros, this is primary. You had Nancy Pelosi and James Clyburn and the Democratic establishment all backing Henry Cuellar. Henry Cuellar voted against codifying Roe v. Wade. And by the way, here's Clyburn's response to it. This morning, he said, on the decision, it's a little anticlimactic. I think we all expected this. And I'm hopeful, I have to read the decision to see exactly the intent to which we can move legislatively to respond to it. You look like you want to say something. Go off.
That's... I cannot speak. Whatever it is that I want to say is definitely not allowed on any platform you're streaming on. So I will reel it in, but Jesus Christ, you can't. Anticlimactic. Yeah, you're an elderly man. You are not affected by this. You didn't lose your rights. You were never going to need an abortion. Of course it's anticlimactic for you. Not for the women in your state, though, who will be losing their abortion rights today.
Exactly. And so, look, here's the thing, though, that I wanted to point out. There's been a long history of bait and switch. You talked about this before. You talked about how Obama had the chance to codify Roe v. Wade. Clinton also had the chance to codify Roe v. Wade back in 1992, right after Planned Parenthood v. Casey, where, they had the ruling where, yes, they had affirmed the right to an abortion, but also stated that states had leeway to add some limits during the first trimester. The trimester thing is what they made up, basically, in order to, classify when the state can actually go in and regulate abortion. So at the time, Democrats revived something called FOCA, the Freedom of Choice Act, right? That failed in 1993. They couldn't get enough of their party in on it. And so Democratic leaders then just abandoned it and turned to healthcare legislation. So now I'm going to read you a quote here. This is Mary Ziegler from the Florida State University. She studies abortion. She's a law professor. She believed that the Senate probably had a bipartisan majority that supported abortion rights when Roe itself had been decided. However, advocates did not feel the pressing need to pass legislation. And in 1992, Ziegler said, when it starts to take too long, this is again the Clinton effort, you see the Democratic Party essentially saying, well, we're not going to worry about this. We'll get to it later. And again, Obama, he had another chance in 2007 to sign FOCA, and he had promised Planned Parenthood. He said, I'm going to sign it. Afterwards, he said, it's not my highest legislative priority. I have more quotes. I have Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin comes out. Now, Joe Manchin had voted against codifying Roe when he had the chance. Okay? He earlier today said that he had trusted Kavanaugh and Gorsuch when they said that they were going to leave Roe alone. They were going to respect, the judicial precedent. And now he's very disappointed. In fact, here's this quote. I trusted Justice Gorsuch and Justice Kavanaugh when they testified under oath that they believed Roe v. Wade was settled legal precedent, and I am alarmed that they chose to reject the stability the ruling has provided for 2 generations of Americans. It has been the law of the land for nearly 50 years and was understood to be settled precedent. As a Catholic, I was raised pro-life and will always consider myself pro-life. But I have come to accept that my definition of pro-life may not be someone else's definition of pro-life. Again, blah, 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 bullshit. And then he added that he would support legislation to codify the right to an abortion, but does not support the procedural changes that would make such a bill viable in the Senate. So, hey, I'd love to do something, but I don't actually want to do something. Sorry, ladies, sucks for you. But, the filibuster, it's just too important.
Which is like such a funny argument because no person's main voting issue is protecting the filibuster. Like there is not a single fucking person in West Virginia who is going to the polls and casting a ballot for Joe Manchin to protect the filibuster. No one cares about it. He enjoys the filibuster because it prevents, or it is a nice excuse for him to never do anything.
That's the donors.
Yep. And it's shameful. And all these politicians are completely shameless, but there is something just despicable about pretending that you believed that they would vote to protect, Roe. You knew damn well when you did that line of questioning that they were not going to vote to protect Roe. Every person knew that. They have an agenda. Like, just miss me with that shit. All of these Democrats can burn in hell. I'm just exhausted with them. It's just
I have more video that's even more frustrating. Again, this is from Nancy Pelosi. Again, here's more of that.
That some of these justices who came before the Senate said they respected precedent and privacy. They must have a different view of precedent from what their vote was today on Roe v. Wade.
Oh, are you saying that they lied? And that yes, of course they lied. Of course they lied. 100%. And finally, I want to show you the coup de grace of weakness from the Democratic response. Here's a bunch of Democrats outside the Supreme Court, not protesting, singing God Bless America.
Tonight with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam, God bless America.
Why doesn't God bless them with some bitches? Like, that's what you're doing today. But they're right. It's the most American thing I could think of is taking away civil liberties from a group of a minority of the population. That is what this country was founded on. It's at the root of this country. So they're right. You know what? They're right. Can't hate. They're correct.
Yeah. So let me just say one more thing here before we wrap it up on this segment. I love how they keep passing the buck. Okay. Oh my God, I can't believe the Republicans would lie to us. I can't believe that, we don't have enough power, even though we're in control of every other branch of the government except for the Supreme Court. I can't believe Republicans would lie to us when we know exactly who they are and what they've done. Look, both parties lie to the American people all the time. They do that to serve their donors, right? And maybe Democrats are actually legitimately confused. Because usually when Republicans lie, when they lie, they do it to protect their donors, right? To help their donors. And so maybe they're actually confused that the Republicans are following through on the things that they say they're going to do because they used to never do so. Hey, wait a minute. We always get together and play good cop, bad cop. You threaten to take away abortion rights. I, say, I'm going to defend it. And I blast my followers with, fundraising emails. And while your idiot followers, give you tons of money. And then we sit there and we get together and we laugh all the way to the bank. But now you're actually doing the things that you said you're going to do, and you're ruining the grift, everybody. You're ruining the grift. This is sort of like the leopards eating face party thing.
Yeah.
The Democrats are surprised that the leopards are actually eating their face.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Yeah, this was very much like the Democrats have such a Westwing ideology and view of
They
the
do.
world. It's like, yeah, we can just, that was what Joe Biden ran on. Yeah, I listen, Jack,
He
I'm
did.
just going to sit down with Joe Manchin and Mitch McConnell, and we're going to use a Ouija board to get the ghost of Strom Thurmond there, and we're going to work it out, bud. Like, no, you're not. No, you're not. They are going to enact fascist policies and laugh at you while they do it, because you have this distorted view of the world that you think that you can reason with fascists, the fascist party in America. You can't sit down across the table with them and work something out. They are entirely beholden to their donors, something you should know, because you are also entirely beholden to your donors.
Exactly. So now look, one last thing. If you want to actually help people, don't give money to the Democrats. Don't do it. You can be a good, as you said, vote cuck, right? It's fine. That's fine. It's not like we have a viable choice in our very broken two-party system anyway. But what you can do, instead of giving money to Democrats, is you can donate to abortion funds. So go to www.abortionfunds.org, see what's in your area in order to help, in order to find places to donate so that women can actually get abortions, as well as health services and resources that Republicans are currently trying to shut down.
Yes.
So
and
that is-
remember, for anyone who has an abortion appointment scheduled, none of these laws go into effect for at least 30 days. So if you have an abortion appointment scheduled for the next 30 days, and check, because some states are going to try to move that date up, and so keep checking with that. But do it. You can do it now. Like, if you had an appointment for today, still go. Still, you can still do it. It's still legal for right now for the next 30 days or so while these pieces of legislation are enacted. But again, just keep up to date with your state, because I don't want anyone going to jail. Because I know these Republicans are going to try to get it, moving as fast as possible. But
Absolutely.
yeah.
Missouri actually moved it up incredibly fast. They've actually got their laws in effect right now.
If you
And
live
then
in
you
Missouri,
had 13. Yep, you had 13 states with trigger laws as well. So, yeah.
If you live in Missouri, abortion is legal in Illinois. So, just a state away.
Yeah. So www.abortionfunds.org and take Rayyvana's advice as well. So and make sure to get with your laws in your state so you can get the health care that you need.